Very good afternoon and a warm welcome to your number one sporting action. It has to be Pitchside, your ultimate Pitchside pass. My name is Mainki Mbogua. It is my hope and prayer that you're doing well. And of course, so many of you, every other given day, you choose to join us every Monday for real-time sporting action, real-time updates, and analysis, in-depth look at various disciplines on what has been happening, what is happening, and equally what will be happening. I am not alone on set today. I'm joined by the man who chooses to come official today. This is because Manchester City was so good to him, and so Liverpool was. And Victor Moya, yes, the Arsenal advocate, is here. Karibu sana to the show.
Thanks so much. Of course, another riveting week in the English Premier League.
Riveting, okay.
Of course, right now Arsenal sitting at the top of the table on goal difference. I'll bet on goal difference, but still, if the league were to end today, we know who the winner.
Of course, it can't end today.
Yes,
I don't know why you people choose to use such language. Games in 38.
It is just an indication of the status quo. That currently Arsenal is winning the Premier League.
And they could bottle it. This is Arsenal we're talking about.
Anything is possible.
The elephant on the top of the table, brother. On top of the tree.
And it will stay there for some while, I think. Well, we'll get into it, but I think it's been a good week, a good sporting week for all around the country, and can't wait to get into it.
Okay. We'll be talking that and more, but allow me to first remind you of the Rafiki Mso initiative. This is how to become a kingdom partner with Hope Media, and you can become part of and parcel of helping us be able to reach out to the various people who listen to us on Hope FM and view us on Hope TV and our subsequent social media platforms by ensuring that the gospel of Jesus Christ reaches to the ends of the world. How do you do this? Simple. Go to your M-Pesa menu, and while you're there, pay bill. Get to the account, and the account number is 933933. The account name, FOHTV. While you're there, you can send as low as 100 shillings and as much as what God has given you. And with that, you'll have helped us be able to push the gospel of Jesus Christ to the ends of the world as we look forward to ensuring that the various parts of this country that Hope FM is not reaching, Hope TV is not reaching, they're able to get there. Ama namna gani, Victor Moya?
Yes, of course, everything with thank you, first of all, for being a friend of Hope and helping us spread the gospel and being able to reach one more soul through the Rafiki Mso initiative.
Absolutely. And you've come with bragging rights, but allow me to bring you in on this one. This is because Match Day 24 was happening over the weekend. And your team, Gor Mahia, last week you left here with bragging rights. 10 points clear. Nobody's going to beat us, but Mbaraki Stadium was the space.
Yes.
And it didn't go well with you people. This is because the Dockers of Bandari were able to ensure that Gor Mahia suffered the second loss of the season in round number 24 of the ongoing FKF Premier League. So defending champions Gor Mahia lose their second game of the season after going down to a solitary goal on Saturday. Now, it was Kogalo's second loss after Police broke that 19-game winning streak. And that was in their 3-1 defeat last month. Now, this month, which I don't know whether you'll be telling me that will be the sequence, they lost. And it was the second game in less than 3 weeks. After equally having lost a game with a second-tier, if not a third-tier team in the name of Denmark FC, Gor Mahia. Take a look at what really happened, even as we await to hear from the man himself, the spokesperson of Gor Mahia. Oh, sorry for that technical hitch, but let me bring in Victor Moya. What happened? What's not happening?
I think, of course, you could attribute it to a lot of things. And of course, playing away, playing in unfamiliar territory is always a challenge. But of course, it wouldn't be unfamiliar.
Mombasa is not unfamiliar.
It is not unfamiliar territory. I just mean the fact that you're playing away from home, and of course, the Mombasa trip is, especially if you're doing it by bus, might be Am I making
This is Gor
excuses?
Mahia. Those are excuses you're making.
I might be making excuses for Gor Mahia, but I think it's just another game week, because they scored, they conceded the goal in the first half and they were not able to get back into the game, and of course they're leading to the loss. And of course you couldn't say it is injuries or anything of that sort. I think it's just a bad day at the office for Gor Mahia. I still think they're well placed to win, and of course Bandari FC now seem to have stabilized after a show of bad results. They're now sitting third on goal after tying on points with Tusker FC. They're now seated third on the table.
7 points adrift for both teams.
Yes, and so that means that the Premier League is getting interesting. I thought the first half of the season had me fooled. You'll have thought that Gor Mahia was running away with it, but as the weeks keep on coming by, I don't know whether Tusker has played Gor Mahia for the second leg, but that will definitely be maybe the match of the season. A very interesting game that is going to be to see how the Premier League goes, and I don't know but I don't know who is going to be able, unless now Gor Mahia keep putting themselves in these positions where they are taking away points from themselves, they are losing points by themselves. I don't think anybody is going to be able to catch them unless Gor Mahia keeps on losing and keeps on losing to teams that maybe we do not expect them to lose to.
Well, expectations or no expectation, it was a night for greatness as Tusker FC handed AFC Leopards the first loss in the year 2024. And AFC Leopards' 9-game unbeaten run ended over the weekend with a painful 1-0 defeat as Tusker ensured that they were able to cruise with 3 points at the Machakos Stadium. Now, for Ingwe, who struggled to start the season, so the unbeaten run of 6 games, wins, and 1 draw, ending as Tusker goal courtesy of an Ingwe player who put the ball into his own net, that is Michael Dwar, in swinged from a corner. Now, this saw AFC Leopards' first defeat in 10 matches in all competition. And this ensured that Tusker, on their part, rose to position number 2. And remember, they had a very bad season while it was starting the season 2023-2024. And all of a sudden, Robert Matano, I remember, seated on this set asking each other, should he really be going, or could he be able to turn back the fortunes? And he's been able to do that for Tusker. Now, the question is, are they able to continue to pile pressure on Kogalo, who are top now with 50 points, and both Tusker and Bandari coming in second and third with 43 points? Take a look at, rather hear from the coaches, even as Victor now tries to defend himself, whether Tusker could be the people to beat him.
You are losing the first game this year, conceding 1 goal.
Yeah, it's football. I told you before the game that it will not be too much about the football, but more fight, many falls, set pieces. Unfortunately, we did one mistake in our defensive set piece, and we were punished. So, but I'm happy for the result. We came to the second half to score. We did fight for it, so compliments to the guys. Congratulations to Tusker, but generally not game of football. It was the war, it was the fight, many falls, many set pieces, but this is how it is on such fields.
Upande wako tathmini ya mchezo?
Ilikuwa mgumu vile nilikwambia, lakini nia yetu ilikuwa moja tu, tupate ushindi na tumepata, tumetosheka na leo. Yeah.
Kwa upande wako ama timu yako kwa ujumla, hatukuona zile moves za striker Eric Kapaito kule mbele. Je, ni uimara?
Game ilikuwa very close contest, timu zote strength ni moja, so any opportunity unafunga nayo, so haungepata move mingi, haungepata free space zote za kukimbia.
And there you have it from Thomas Tricher and Robert Matano. AFC Leopards losing 1-0 to Tusker FC. Victor,
yes,
are these the people to beat you people?
I think when you look at the schedules for both Gor Mahia and Tusker, Tusker seem to have an easier schedule going ahead to complete the season. I think Gor Mahia may have a tougher schedule there. They have to play, but some of the teams that they already played Tusker in January and they won 1-0. So that means that at least that is a clash that we will not be able to see, and the title may already have been decided because of that. But I think they have to play a very informed AFC. They have to play relegation threatened Nzoia Sugar, and of course Kakamega Homeboys. All of these teams, they have their own challenges, but I think what I said about Gor Mahia and the coast might be true, because when they played FC Denmark, they were still at the coast. So it might be...
So Mombasa is really not the good home for Kogalo.
Yes, it seems like it might be a climate thing or a fatigue thing, but I don't know what it is. But it seems like whenever they play there, they always seem, at least for this year, they have lost. And of course, Robert Matano managing to turn around the fortunes of Tusker FC, now seated second, 7 points behind leaders Gor Mahia. Of course, with maybe from when you in comparison to Gor Mahia, maybe an easier schedule and an easier run of games for them, and maybe looking to capitalize on any weakness, a draw or a loss by Gor Mahia from this point on. It is definitely on. I think when you look at Bandari and Tusker seated tied for points, I think it could go either way, because now only 2 games separate the leaders, and so it's getting tighter at the top, and that is good for the competition of the league.
Well, my only question should be, were you Robert Matano, what is this one thing that you would do to ensure that you're able to not only frustrate Kogalo, but equally be able to show them that, you know what, we are the bigger boys in this game?
Of course, Robert Matano is a seasoned tactician in Kenya. He has what it takes to take it to go all the way and to win. And of course, when you look at how he was able to turn around the team from such a poor performing team, and now they are seated second, you can tell that he knows how to motivate his team. He knows how to motivate the players. He knows how to motivate the boys and to get them going. So if we are playing this when it doesn't work, let's change the tactic and see how it goes. And so they obviously changed and adapted to the circumstances that they were in, and now they are seated second. But you wouldn't expect anything less from such a team, because Tusker are one of the biggest clubs in the country, and they are always in the conversation of the title race. And so that just means that now what they are able to do is just make sure that they do not drop any points. And if they don't drop any points, the pressure now comes on Kogalo, and Kogalo now has to also certainly ensure that they do not drop any points. At this point, it's just marginal mistakes. Lack of concentration here, a goal is conceded, and that might be the title gone for either of them.
Title gone for either of them. And if you want to talk about title being gone, if there's one team that has allowed it to go, it's Posta Rangers. One time they were actually leading this season, but over the weekend they were playing the Sharks of Kariobangi, and 5 to the sword is what they took from one John Mark Makwata, Fortune Omonto, Levilita Autieno, and Julius Masaba, who netted a first half brace with Posta Rangers consolation goal coming in from Brian Otieno. And while we tend to first wait to hear from the tacticians, one of the questions one would really be asking themselves, is it a case of office management, or could there be issues off the pitch that could be affecting Posta Rangers? But first things first, let's hear from the tacticians.
One thing that I can say is that football at times can be very cruel, very, very cruel. And I think despite the issue of us having key players outside the team, I think we have 30 registered players. And I think it should be an issue whereby I always want to play because now we have the likes of Bernard out of injury, the goalkeeper Njao is out with a red card. So I think the most important thing is that we take it the way it is. Then from there, we try at least the good thing is that there's a period that will do us more good, because in terms of injury, we'll be in a position to recover. But the most important thing is that we keep on fighting.
If we had been creating chances and not scoring, and at least today, out of the many that we created, at least we managed to get 5 goals. So something to build on. The team from that, of course, a bit disappointed with the last minute goal. We have been conceding in the last minute. They would have done better. Maybe good communication, concentration, especially the last minutes. But let's not be carried away by that one mistake. But again, cherish the moment that at least we got a win, and with a better score.
Of it, 3 games on the loss. Remember, last weekend they lost 4-0 to Gor Mahia. The previous weekend they had lost 1-0 to Police FC. And this past weekend. They lost 5-1. I'm speaking about Posta Rangers. What could be happening, Victor Moya, Bana?
I think obviously they have John Kamau is the head coach at Posta Rangers. When you look at his resume, he's coached. He was the assistant coach for Wazito FC, who made some noise in the Premier League a few years ago, and I think that is what got him the job. But of course, I think for Posta Rangers, I feel like it might be a lack of experience for, all across. They have a young squad, and of course, a new coach who may, given the start that they had, obviously it's the energy, but the experience in the league is what carries you to the end, because you might start very strongly, but you may not have the experience knowing how to bounce back from a loss, and so you might lose, and then you because you dwell too much on the loss, you lose again, and then you dwell too much on that loss, and now it just becomes compounding to the point where now you're conceding 5 goals, and of course that means that there's demoralization in the team. There is, of course, now when the back office gets involved, or maybe they have their own say and their own expectations, but maybe as a coach and as a team you may not have the personnel to deliver. That pressure keeps compounding, and that will definitely affect the results. And of course, I hope to see Posta Rangers bounce back next season and be able to play well and be able to put on a good show that we saw a glimpse of, because they were really on fire at the beginning of the season.
Amazing, and there you have it from the local scene. Far as the league is concerned, 2023-2024 season, Gor Mahia leading the log with 50 points, 7 points, safe on the top. Coming in second is Tusker FC and Bandari, 43 points. And at number 4 is Police FC with 39 points. And so is Posta Rangers and City Stars, the Simba Wajiji. At number 7 is none other than Kakamega Homeboys and Chui in the name of AFC Leopards, coming in at number 8 with 34 points. At number 9, interestingly, it's KCB, a team that has, over this past few seasons, contended for the top spot, but unfortunately, they find themselves in a very, very unfamiliar territories. And of course, top 10 is closed by none other than Bidgoal United. We should get from there to what Victor Moya wants to really talk about. And it all started on Saturday. It's EPL game match week number 28. Kai Havertz header sending Arsenal top of the table. And Arsenal moved top of the table with a 2-1 victory against Brentford, stretching their remarkable win run into the 2024 season and 2024 year to 8 matches. The only team that has been able to beat Arsenal in all competition thus far is FC Porto. They'll be facing them tomorrow. We'll talk about that. But Kai Havertz, the very man who actually scored even last game in a 1-0 on the 89th minute, scoring again on the 86th minute. Arsenal on the top. Let's first take a snippet of what really happened as Victor comes in to bring the bragging rights on this one. Victor,
Yes.
is this the season? Or how different could Arsenal be rising on this one?
I think, of course, tactically, I think Arsenal have improved compared to last season. And of course, I think such games are what show the grit, the championship grit that teams have. Of course, when you've been on a roll of 5 goals, 6 goals week in, week out, you meet an opponent like Brentford, who for them, this is an important game for very different reasons, because they are near the relegation zone. So they don't want to keep on losing games that will see them drop into the relegation zone. And so that is the motivation that they're coming into the game with. And of course, sometimes things don't always go according to plan. And of course, you have many missed chances. A mistake by the goalkeeper Ramsdale there,
which we need to talk about, because I want to really understand. Could it be his cue to actually tell Mikel Arteta, I am not the best that you think I am?
I think, of course, there has been talk of Ramsdale leaving at the end of the season, and that is also attributed to the fact that he does not really fit in well with the style of play that Arteta wants to implement or has implemented over the past few years. Of course, the the goalkeepers using their feet has become a more and more common phenomenon in football, or in modern football. Of course, they're giving the ball to the goalkeeper and building the play from the back. And so you need a goalkeeper who's quick, who's able to, even dribble here and there and be able to get out of such sticky situations. Quick thinking, that is what we saw, a drop in concentration from Ramsdale, leading to the conceding the goal. But of course, he made up for it with two good saves in the second half, and then of course Kai Havertz finishing it off. So I think when you look at the Arsenal team and the other teams that are on the Premier League, when you look at the way the Premier League is set up right now, it's anybody's league for the taking. But of course, it's just three. It's just Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool. But I think Arsenal are in a good place right now to just hold on to it till the very end.
Well, we'll be looking at what Arsenal is waiting ahead, rather what is waiting ahead of Arsenal, even as the league continues. But allow me to bring in your noisy neighbors, call them your nemesis for that reason. But Marco Rashford and Bruno Fernandes first half penalties, ensuring that Manchester United were on target to boost their hopes for the top four. And Alejandro Garnacho was involved in both penalties. And he is what you'd call a gem in the mud, for lack of a better word. Because you look at him, what he's doing, him and Rasmus Højlund for Manchester United. And then you look at the likes of Rashford, the likes of Harry Maguire, and Bruno Fernandes. And you can't help but ask, who best needs this kid? Is it Erik ten Hag? Or is it Barcelona's of this world, Real Madrid's of this world? Who best fits for this one?
Of course, when you look at the Manchester United squad, they have lacked an identity. I think ever since Sir Alex Ferguson left, you don't really know what brand of football they play. You can look at Liverpool and you can tell that they play a high midfield line. You can look at Arsenal, you can tell they play very pressing football. You can look at Man City, who also play a similar game. But when you look at Manchester United, you can't really tell what they're playing. And I think it's mostly a personnel issue, or both a coaching and personnel issue. Because Erik ten Hag came in and brought in players that we expected will be able to turn things around for Manchester United, but that has not been the case. The Erik ten Hag experiment, I think, even given the win, a 2-0 win, I think they might make it to the top four, but it's a matter of, there are a lot of games, and of course you hope Aston Villa
might make it to the top four.
They might.
Allow me to ask this. This is because last evening, Tottenham Hotspurs were playing none other than Aston Villa, fourth playing fifth.
Yes.
Full time, plus 4 goals. And that meant that Tottenham, with a game in hand, are closer to the top four.
Yes.
Comparing them with Aston Villa, who is an inconsistent side, and Manchester United, do you still feel that they have the hope of making it to this cards?
And of course, when you look at when you look at Tottenham, I think given the game that they had against Aston Villa, a resounding 4-0 victory. But I think Tottenham might even be the title deciders this season. They are yet to play Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City, and they will play those 3 teams 3 weeks in a row. And of course, I think at that point we'll have a pretty good picture of how they.
So whoever loses to Tottenham Hotspurs has all what it takes to ensure that maybe they've passed the league to the other person.
Yes, because of course Tottenham is part of the Big Six, and so that is a big team, and that is a big game for any of those. For Arsenal, that's a derby. For Manchester City, that's a rival they obviously Tottenham play well against big teams. For Liverpool also, you don't want to lose against Tottenham. Of course, Tottenham they have had a mixed season, but they seem to be getting on well. They seem to, with a new coach and of course new implementations, where Pochettino seems to, not Pochettino, sorry, the Tottenham coach Conte seems to be really putting together a system that is working for them. And so it will be interesting to see what happens when Tottenham play. But of course, if they manage to even get a win against any of those 3 teams, I think Manchester United can maybe forget the top 4, because the top 4 is going to be, and also Manchester United are to play Arsenal sometime coming up. I don't think that's an easy game for Manchester United.
Amazing. Well, that happened, and as it happened, Liverpool, Manchester City, draw ensured that Arsenal, to some extent, were the most favoured by this result, because full-time 1-1 after John Stone scored a consolation from a penalty spot by one Mark Allister, ensuring that Anderson, one, did a blunder that was actually necessitated by Nathaniel Ake, but that alone was not enough. Sadly, he was called out because of that injury that he suffered. We are hoping that it's not a serious issue. But even as it not becomes a serious issue, it becomes now more apparent, like Victor Moya was saying, that Tottenham could be the king's maker in this one, because they are yet to play Liverpool, they are yet to play Arsenal, they are yet to play Manchester City. But as it stands, Arsenal on top of the table with a goal difference better than Liverpool, coming in second, and third place is none other than Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, who is also trying to chase not just one but several trophies into this season. However, allow me to take a short break, because we're having a very in-depth look on the face and space of rugby. I'll be joined by an amazing man. He's played for this country. He's played for the 15 side. He's played for KCB. And we'll be talking with Martin Ohila on different facets when it comes to professional rugby and the intrigues that are happening both in the Kenya Cup, the Challenger Series, and the drama on the back room of KRU. We take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. Keep it Hope TV, where you look and live.
Na ibada yangu nakupa wewe Bwana.
To get Wewe ni Mungu by Evelyn Wanjiru as your Skiza tune, SMS the word Skiza 88300028 and send to 811. Hope Skiza, spreading the hope.
Sijaona kama wewe umepigana vita zangu. Nakupa ibada ya moyo wangu usiku wa leo.
Panda tukupandishe on your entertainment this new year on GoTV bila kulipia extra. Kama uko on GoTV Lite, lipia GoTV Value, utapata kufurahia GoTV Plus. Tayari on GoTV Value, then lipia GoTV Plus uenjoy GoTV Max. Kama wewe ni wa GoTV Plus, lipia GoTV Max ujinice na shows noma kabisa on GoTV Super. Furahia the best sports, international shows na local shows una like free. Download GoTV Stream. GoTV, love it.
This far, this far, this far, this far, this far, you've been our God.
To get Ebenezer by Jane Allaire as your Skiza tune, SMS the word Skiza 88300023 and send to 811. Hope Skiza, spreading the hope.
Ebenezer, you've been our God. Ebenezer, oh, Ebenezer, you've been our God. This far.
Aya, hamna GoTV Stream? It's free. GoTV Stream iko mkononi na ni free. Download GoTV Stream app for free. Uenjoy live TV na shows kama 8. Download and watch later anytime, anywhere. GoTV Stream iko mkononi na ni free. Available to active subscribers. GoTV, love it.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It will just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
Panda tukupandishe on Yo Entertainment this new year on GoTV bila kulipia extra. Kama uko on GoTV Lite, lipia GoTV Value. Utapata kufurahia GoTV Plus. Tayari on GoTV Value, then lipia GoTV Plus uenjoy GoTV Max. Kama wewe ni wa GoTV Plus, lipia GoTV Max ujinice na shows noma kabisa on GoTV Super. Furahia the best sports, international shows na local shows una like free. Download GoTV Stream. GoTV, love it.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It will just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
Afternoon and welcome back. You've just joined us, then you're in time for your number one sporting action. It has to be Pitchside, your ultimate Pitchside pass. And we had an amazing time talking about football. And thank you for your feedback. Thank you for every one of you who's watching. And allow us to shift gears from there. This is because we want to really talk not just about it, but talk with the man who knows it, who's experienced it, and who is at the heart of it. I'm speaking about rugby, and where best to start it off if you're not starting it at the Kenya Cup. He's not happy that I'm asking this, but Kabras FC and finish in regular season of the Kenya Cup unbeaten. This is courtesy of his side. I'm speaking about none other than Martin Owila from KCB. He's played for the 15s, he's played for the Kenya Sevens, and he's won the Kenya Cup 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Yes, karibu sana to the set bana.
Thank you, sir.
Imekuwa vipi?
Imekuwa
poa.
Great season.
All right.
Yeah, I was just looking at some pictures at TBT pale Facebook. Naona why it's 10 years since, I played in Nakuru RFC. So it's been a good run. And like I said, the season is getting on well.
Right.
Yes.
Great. Maybe the first question one would really ask, are there still prospects of this team ensuring that they are winning this one? I'm speaking about KCB.
Yeah, well, I came to KCB in 2016. I think that was May. And with KCB, I've had like great run. We've won this championship. We won Kenya Cup in a good season. We've won Kenya Cup unbeaten. We've defended the cup. So these are things that we've done before, and it can be done again. That is what I think I'll be able to say. The coaches might be able to say better than that. But as a player, I know the place of what is really entitled of us as the playing unit. For now, really, our shift is actually on the upcoming semi-finals.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the favors that we get in rugby. Unlike football, whereby you top the league, you have won the league. For rugby, it's a bit kind of different setup. Right. So inaweza kuwa saa league imeisha, but after that we are going for playoffs. Number 1 and 2, of course, have a direct semi-finals ticket.
Definitely.
And then 3, 4, 5, 6 are going to be battling it out this weekend to get a slot now to play the semi-finals for the top 2 teams.
Maybe I think one of the questions I would ask you, Martin, who would you prefer to sail through from the playoffs?
Yeah.
For you at least to be not only playing, but be able to beat them and get the experience of preparing yourself to either tackle Cabras or whoever they'll be facing?
Well, we Cabras is out of the picture because we can't really be able to meet at the semi-finals for them.
Definitely.
So on our side, I think we are trying to look at Oilers. We are trying to look at Queens.
And of the two, who would you prefer? Who would give maybe KCB a better experience and equally an opportunity to beat?
A better experience, I think that would be Oilers. One, because they've won against us in one of the semi-finals in the past. We've played them more and more. We've beaten them in a semi-finals. We've played Queens in a semi-finals at home. Yeah, we've never lost to Queens, really, if I can be able to remember. So when it comes to sports, it's usually who do you prefer? As it comes, wakuje. Because also on our side, I think what we'll do, you approach every game in a different way. You approach every game with a different strategy. So right now, I think that is what we are working on, and that is where our focus will be.
Well, it's a case of wait and see, and we are wishing you people the very best.
We are doing well.
And as we wish you the very best, allow me to bring you in on this. This is because we were in Montevideo, Uruguay, over the weekend.
Yeah, sure.
And to the late of this morning, we were playing in the Challenger Series.
Yes.
Sadly, we didn't make it to the finals. We made it to the semis.
Yes.
We played in the third place playoff, beat Chile 31-12.
Yes.
And first things first, what is your honest assessment on Kevin Wambua?
But my honest assessment,
yes.
I think they are really doing great. He has a very good team, the likes of Andrew Amonde. And I think one best thing is that these are people also who understand who we are as Kenyans. They have not just played with some of the players before, but they've seen those players be able to grow. So I think that is really working well for him. They are really actually doing very amazing. Since they took over, I think they've won almost all the tournaments that they've been involved in.
Yes.
Except for this Challenger Series that we emerged bronze winners. And we thank God for that. I mean, emerging at the podium in a 7 series, whether it is Challengers or not, is not usually a joke. And you saw the scare against Uganda. I mean,
big time. It was something to live for.
Uganda with these our neighbors. So 7-5 for us, that's a big thing. But I really applaud them. Yeah, very happy for them. I was looking at the rookies just getting their bronze medal, and you can see the joy. And that also gives them the hope even for the next Challenger Series. What I know with this team, Coach Kevin Wambua and the technical team, Andrew Amonde, we are getting back into the series.
Amazing.
Yes.
Wishing them the very best.
Always.
Allow me to bring you in this. You've played for the two ends.
Yeah.
You've played for the national team, the 7th and the 15th. You've also played for KCB. That is on the corporate front and the national front.
Yes.
Pressure iko wapi pakubwa?
Well, one thing about being an athlete is you can never be perfect. And so pressure is usually, whether it is with success, there is always pressure. The wins, the losses, the injuries. I've gone through surgeries. And I know we'll touch a bit on that, but even in our setup as sports, the addictions to betting, to drinking, to what, all these things culminate to all the things that we call pressure. But I didn't play sevens much. I think I got into sevens when there was a bit of transition with our sevens team, so we were called upon from the 15th side. I think I did like 4-5 tours or so, but I've enjoyed 15s since Coach Jerome Pawota called me back in 2014-2015. I've played 15s much, and I can tell the dynamics are a bit different coaches, different strategies. And the truth of the matter is every coach has their different kind of strategy, every different strategy, every different plan. Inakujanga tu na pressure yake. But pressure is good in sports. But even in our Christian faith, Jesus was
if you don't work that salvation,
in this world you will have troubles. You will have that means troubles in all nations. So we just embrace it, and then the word we break through keep on taking us. I see a lot of sportsmen in my rugby family wako na tatu ya Philippians 4:13 ama hapo ameandika kavas nini, so those are the things that actually keeps us going. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So as a sportsman, as an athlete, as a sportswoman, just find that thing that keeps you going and manage that pressure.
Amazing. Maybe before we delve into this afternoon's conversation on mental health and, of course, sports evangelism, allow me to ask this. He's been confirmed as a tactician for the 15th. I'm speaking about Paul Waters.
Yeah.
And as a player who's been under his tutelage, what does this mean for you people?
Well,
because one too many times you find a tactician is there, very unstable. You don't know whether tomorrow you'll find them. What does this mean?
Yeah, okay. For me, I think I was privileged because it is Coach Waters who actually gave me a call up when I joined the National 15s aside. So I've been under his tutelage, I've been under his mentorship as a coach, as a father. There's just a way he knows how to not just deal with Kenyans, but he understands the difference between Kenyan players, South African players, that diversity. Yeah, and that actually makes him be able to, just be tactical. And if you look at the assistant coaches that he has, he has Carlos, and he also has Kolago Curtis with him. So the depth of experience in actually that technical team should be able to get us far. One thing with Coach Jerome Waters is very skilled in terms of planning. Okay, I believe when we were going for the World Cup qualifiers in Madagascar, that is when it was organized by the leadership then that we go for our Vodacom Cup in South Africa.
Yes.
2 months training, playing in test rugby, relating. Because one thing about sports, when I came from that tournament, I realized competition is actually a skill. Competition is a skill, and that is one thing we need to actually maximize as a country. We are not going to be playing, low rugby and expect to perform in the higher places. I think the Sevens team are really trying to do it well, but more can be done. I mean, these are people that can just be selected and be taken to a high-level performance center. So he's actually a very good coach, very focused, looking ahead. And it is his desire always to see Kenya qualify for the World Cup. So with that desire, with that passion, with that zeal, I think we have the right team.
Amazing. Yeah. Happy to hear from a man at the heart of it, playing it and being able to tell what is really unfolding.
Yeah.
But let me bring you in on this. This is because other than being a player, you're not only a public health officer, but you're also the founder of the Mentor Me program.
Yes.
Basically, bring us in on that.
Well, our Mentor Me program is an initiative I started back in Mount Kenya University. And purely we just deal with mentorship and training. That is at different levels, whether it is leadership in career. I go to schools, I do career talks and mentorship, all under Mentor Me program. And I think as a Masinika David, very many skills, but just trying to put them in place. So I was privileged to be a student leader in Mount Kenya University.
Yes.
And because of the gap I saw, to our comrades' power and you get into the leadership and you realize, Maze, did I really prepare for this? No one ever took me through such a preparation. So that gap and that struggle, I told myself, while I hand over, I'll try come up with a mentorship program, and purely started by just mentoring leaders. So I'll call resource persons, the likes of Karen Wakoli, Peter Quest, of KSG, Gabriel Achayo, Africa Youth Leadership Forum, and they will come and talk to the leaders and guide us and mentors. So that is actually the genesis of it. One thing about it is that we focus on what we call the 3 Ps, because we understand that especially young people, there is a place of purpose, there is a place of passion, and there is a place of potential. That is what rugby has done. I'm so passionate about rugby ever since high school. It is through rugby that I was able to get my sports scholarship to Mount Kenya University.
Amazing.
And so that Mentor Me program deals on those 3 Ps. And we desire to see, our mentees come out what we call RBC, Nika red blood cells of mentorship. So they come out responsible, they come out bold, and they come out also competent.
Amazing.
So that generally is what Mentor Me stands for. So we really look forward to actually our mentees and the people we are talking to be able to maximize on their potentials. We are big on gifts, we are big on talents. Before academics and education for us, make sure that you are maximizing on your gifts, talents, and education. So even in rugby, it's the same thing. I think I usually encourage my athletes that even in your passion with sports, ensure that also, in line with your academics, education, just find a skill and train on it. Because at the end of the day, we are going to retire someday. Rugby has a lot of injuries. And any other sports, no one plays sports
forever.
Yes.
Well, it'll be very unfair if I don't really ask this question. And my question this afternoon, I want to really ask.
Yeah.
What is the place of faith, and in this case, Christian faith, when it comes to sports? Because one too many times you hear so-and-so is called John, he's called Martin, he's called Joseph. But very few people, and especially in the local scene, have come very bold to profess and claim their faith in Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know how that actually happens. I strongly believe by conviction. To me, rugby was really founded by a very strong believer. And if I can be able just to borrow something from the rugby fraternity, for us, unlike football, unlike football, when you really are able to do something that is not really good, a foul, let's say in rugby, when we give you a yellow card, you don't stay in the field.
Yes.
You go out. And it struck me when I realized they call it a sin bin. Yeah, if you translate it in Kiswahili, naka takataka ya dhambi. So I really used to wonder, why would someone who founded rugby be able to call it a sin bin? And what happens in the sin bin? One, your players are suffering because now we are less in the field. Number two, it is a place of meditating. There is something that I've done wrong. I'm here to think, to reflect about myself. And apparently there's a second chance. So I'm not going to sit outside here forever. I'm actually going to get back to the field and actually be able to do the right thing. So for me, that was it. But growing up, generally, I've loved sports. My area, my uncle Dennis was playing sports. Okero was playing sports, and all these people. So I've seen it. But while watching football at some point, you know, the World Cups, I would see these players who will score, they take off their t-shirt and inside there is a verse. Jesus, I love you. There is a verse. I can do all things. And one thing about sports and faith is inseparable. Nika sports and religion. The way tunazebanga sports and politics ni hivi. Sports and religion and church and faith is very much tight. And that is why also for us who are believers, we really need to come out bold. We really need to come out open so that we can be able to stand in the gap. Yeah, we can't just be witnessing. Recently we've lost like 3 of our athletes.
Yes.
Okay, as a country, and these are people who are not just taking our name high, but these are fathers. These are people who are helping us. These are people who are also supporting us in one way or the other. So for me, all through, I mean, before when I rededicated my life while playing for Nakuru Rugby, that was in Nakuru, is when I started taking this seriously. I realized, I'm not just here just to play rugby. Yeah, if you remember what God told us, the Bible tells us in Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine that men will see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So it occurred to me, it is possible. It is possible to stand right with God in sports, in your career, in your field, in your academics, in politics, in leadership, just like any other field. Rugby and any other sports is part of the, you know, what we call the 7 professional nations of calling. So hakuna mali imeandikwa that, you know, sportsmen are people that should know.
Ni watu wa dunia.
And I know I've experienced it before. You know, there's
a space of the muscle.
I tell you, there's one of our deaconesses alikuwa anambia, hey, I never thought a rugby player would be a pastor. It's just like any other field. And I mean, we have reverence for God in sports. I've seen a lot. I mean, for KCB, we are really privileged. We have Pastor Shakes who comes in every Thursday. We Sitam Church has not just supported us in rugby. We actually have Sitam Rugby Football Club in Kisumu. They have supported our individuals. You know, some of our players who sadly lost their parents. We've done chaplaincy in Sitam Church. Their support, even in terms of some of the machineries and equipments they've bought for the rugby fraternity, is huge. And so we see the support that the church is bringing. I fellowship at Winners Chapel International, Nairobi. I'm privileged to serve there as the youth president. And one of the things that the church is just doing is also to have special Sundays where they conduct prayers for sportsmen, for different professionals. Like next Sunday, the 17th, we are doing one for military personnel, policemen, because we want to see. God told us to go to the whole world. So the preaching, the good news that we are preaching is not for the people we choose, but the people that God has chosen for us. And for us in sports, you know, God made sports. God loves sportsmen and women. So I can say that is the major point about, you know, the place of sports and church. And again, if you look at it the other way around, for me, God has really taught me a lot through sports, through rugby. The pain, the surgeries, the losses, the wins. How do you handle yourself as a believer, as a Christian, towards someone when you win? Okay? You're able to lower your pride. You're able to mind your talk. What happens when you lose? What happens when this and this? So there's a lot God has taught me for me through sports. And you know, God is not a waster. So the experiences that we get, even as sports people, God will use it to his glory. The other thing about sports, it is still in line with the mental health that I think we'll talk about. And
which I want you to even bring it in. Yes.
we'll talk on it, man, because if you look at 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 8, the Bible says that bodily exercise, sportsmanship, profiteth but a little. So even that little is good for us, but godliness is profitable unto all things.
Amen.
So it is possible for us as believers and the church and in faith to not just encourage sportsmen to pursue more of their passion in sports, but to let them know, but this is just for a time. It profiteth, yes, but godliness profits unto all things. So that is where someone is able to understand, I'm here for a time, I'm here for a season. I was not in KCB before. There was someone who was there.
Sure.
They are not there at the moment. So that gives you a great picture. And one of the things about sports is, unlike many others who go through different mental health issues, for us in sports, our mental health perspectives is very much different. And it hits a lot. Because unajua wasa wakiwa field, say ni mabody, say wako sawa. Nobody will think you go through stuff.
Diet unapiga fiti.
Diet unapiga sawa. Nobody even cares whether you ate or not. You know, but when they see you on game day, when they see you in the TVs, when they see you in interviews, I mean, we are doing well, jerseys imewashika and stuff like that. There is a lot of fan base, and everything looks good. Yeah, I think when I was coming to this show, I posted on my Facebook wall. And I wrote there, after the final whistle, when the lights are gone, when the fans are gone, when everyone is gone, the player always remains. They're able to regroup. So for us, mental health is a very key thing, but not just in sports, in any other thing. Why? Because it comes with injuries. I've had surgeries before, like 10 or so, and that eats a sports person because you don't know what will happen next. Is my sports over? Where do I move on next? And that is why we encourage our athletes that are passed from your passion in sports. Maze, just pursue your education.
Amazing.
Pursue your academics. Get that degree, get that certificate, get that diploma. I started with a certificate course, Great Lakes University of Kisumu. I moved to Mount Kenya University while I was playing for Nakuru RFC. They were supporting me. That is how I did my diploma. I managed to get a sports scholarship to do my degree in the main campus, and then now I'm in KCB. So pursue that training. Even before this certificate, diploma, what course, I was doing different trainings with the Red Cross, with this. Just find out what is in line with your passion, what is in line with your career, and you can be able to do those trainings. So mental health, I actually had just 4 nuggets. And I was trying to borrow them from Hope TV, and so that we don't forget. Anytime you think of Hope TV, that Hope should be able to give you the nuggets that we are talking about. Now, H. H stands for your health.
Yes.
Yes, it is mental health, but H stands for your health. Your health physically, your health emotionally, your health mentally, your health spiritually. You are not really going to improve on your mental health until you take care of this 3-4 phases of life. Physically, get your body moving. There are simple things, but you know, when in Sunday school they used to teach us those songs, head, shoulder, knee, Santos, you sing them in schools and stuff. Just get yourself moving. Get yourself in action. Don't be static. Don't be someone thinking that you are so much depressed. Umeka to apana. Get outside there. Get going. Move. Get your body moving. That aspect of health is very, very much key. The Bible tells us something in 3 John verse 2. The Bible says that I wish above all things that you, as an athlete, you as a sportsman, you as an individual, you may prosper and be in health.
Yes.
Even as your soul prospers. So you see, God is actually interested in the prosperity of our health, our body, our mind, but more so our soul. Because what will it gain you to achieve all these medals, wins? You know, gain the whole world and lose your soul. So all these things are attached. And you also understand you might be sound in your spirit-wise, you might be sound in your mind, but if you mess up your body, there are things you can't be able to do. I needed my physical activeness to be able to reach this place. I needed my mental health to be able to, you know, speak or be able to bring certain points. And more so, I also needed my spirit being, because, you know, David was telling us something that when we went to sleep, we woke up because the Lord sustained us.
Amen.
So hatuwezi neglect your place, ya God. The place of spirituality is very much key in an individual, whether in sports or in any field.
Amazing. Yeah. Maybe Martin, because of the interest of time, allow me to allow you to wrap it up.
Okay.
And as you wrap it up, I want you to do these 2 things.
Okay.
What the church can do to be able to help sportsmen and women in the country, as far as their mental health is concerned.
Okay.
And also as sportsmen and women, how do we then understand that it's not just about being helped by the church, but also being part and parcel of the church?
Being part and parcel of the church. Now, one thing is sports evangelism is about just going outside there. So that field next to your mtaa, that field next to your home, that field in the church is an avenue for us to be able to share the love of Christ. And so the church cannot just come in terms of, the church has a very big place to play.
Yes.
Sportsmen and sportswomen are children and parents and part of the church.
Yes.
And so that now just becomes an avenue. One thing about sports is that it brings people together. So it has the capacity to unite. It has the capacity to bring out that love. So the church can actually be able not just to organize tournaments. We see Sitam Church doing it. The church can also come in terms of sponsorship. The church can come in terms of just praying for sportsmen and women intentionally. And also the church can come and actually empower and be able to teach us as sports people the place of sports and how it relates to faith. That now becomes very key. And then the second thing about now the brethren in the church. Well, I know our surrounding sometimes is very much, just like any other sports. Rugby, our surrounding has a lot of fun, has a lot of, alcohol, has a lot of this and that. And that is because, most of the people who come to support the game come with different kinds of products.
Yes.
And so if you feel that you really want to desire to see a change or to support the team, why not also come in? So in terms of just criticizing, ensure that you are contributing. One of the things about contribution, it is the greatest use of energy.
Yes.
And even as I try to wrap up on the HOPE that I talked about, H, we talked about health in our physical, mental, and spiritual capacity. Or also, as individuals, own your own happiness. Own your own happiness in terms of be nice to yourself. Maze, I see a lot of, athletes and even individuals, wanaweza ongea poa kuhusu jamaa fulani.
But not
they can talk so well. Ukiona venye wanaongelea jua Arsenal ama maze KCB. You look at our fans, maze KCB ndio ile club, maze nini. Arsenal fans are there, Man U. But when it comes to themselves, they tend to talk very ill, very no. So own your own happiness. Be nice to yourself. Talk health to yourself. Talk life to yourself. David said that I encourage myself in the Lord.
Yes.
I usually tell people, don't wait for motivational speakers to motivate you always. Ensure that your motivation is intrinsic. Find reasons to motivate yourself. That you woke up today is a reason to motivate yourself. That you're even playing for the national team, for that club. That you're part of that sports team. That you're part of that church. That you're part of that family. Encourage yourself in the Lord. And then people matter. People matter.
What do you do?
What do you if for us in mentorship, there is nothing that we do that does not involve people.
People, yes.
Behind these cameras, there are people. Behind the interview, there are people. Behind this whole organization, there are people. People matter. And if you're really going to improve on your mental health, you have to understand that association is key. Proverbs 13:20 told us something. He that walks with the wise shall be wise.
Yes. Maybe in a second.
Yeah.
P and E.
P and E.
Yes.
People matter.
Yes.
Association is key. Walk with the wise, you shall be wise. Walk with people who talk well about you. Walk with people who build you up. Lastly, Hope. H-O-P-E. E. As much as people matter, environment also matters. So don't be in a toxic place and you think you'll improve in yourself. You'll improve your mental capacity. Environment is very, very much key. Avoid toxic environment. Cut out from toxic, bad people, toxic environments, and stuff like that. Anything that will affect your body, your mind, your spirit, detach yourselves from those things.
Right.
Don't be deceived. Evil communication will corrupt good morals. So that then becomes the place of mental health in terms of our sports world. HOPE, hope.
Thank you so very much, Martin.
Thank you, sir.
And of course, my producer is telling me that time is up, but I want to really appreciate you coming. I want to really appreciate the nuggets that you've shared. And I hope that you go out there, be part of the game as a Christian, and even as a player, be also part of the Christian community. But from me, Mike Kimbogo, and of course, Mr. Martin Owila, it's bye-bye for now. Enjoy the rest of our viewing. God bless you.
God bless you.